For several generations now, have parents and homes in Sweden been threatened by governmental authorities that have been allowed to walk in with the threat of weaponized violence and steal children from the core family. The American Bar Association published a paper and they corroborated all of our latest science on the subject, and they concluded that for killing the child, separation from biological families is the worst form of psychological child abuse that you can do. So we have in science concluded that there is nothing worse that you can do to a child for killing it than taking it from their parents. We think that it is a valuable thing because the child is getting a slap when a parent is having a very weak moment. And now we think that it's prudent to take the child, which is the worst form of abuse that any slaps or any amount of physical violence could ever be. It is a form of abuse that scars the child on a biological level, on a neurological level. They remain scarred throughout most of their lives unless they actively and intentionally try to fix themselves. And it's a long and arduous journey. Everything because we think that the Swedish way is better than all of the other ways. But there is no scientific support for this. There is no scientific support that a child that may be slapped when it's acting out of order, it feels any less loved than any other child. Because the children know when they're acting out of line. And they know that if they're not punished when they're acting out of line, then something is wrong. They realize that something is wrong. If they're not punished, they test the limits. Of course, I'm not standing here saying you should hit your child. Nobody should have to resort to violence in any situation. What I'm saying is that it is already the most violent thing you can do when you separate children from their biological families. You're already violating them. You're already damaging them. So there is no excuse that can justify separating biological families unless there is overwhelming evidence telling us a clear picture that the child is actually being maltreated, that the child is actually being abused. Unless such evidence exists, a separation should be the last resort. The very last course of action should be separation of the biological family. Yes, in Sweden, this is one of the primary actions that they undertake, the governmental authorities. And beyond that, they have likewise become indemnified in Sweden. It is impossible to sue the state representatives for malpractice in Sweden. It has been decriminalized in Sweden. So these state representatives think that they're allowed to do whatever they want. They believe that they're allowed to write sheer lies on papers and then file them under other authorities, courts and similar. They believe such a thing because for 2 generations it has been impossible for the Swedish citizenry to sue and charge for malpractice. the state in Sweden, but this is a global atrocity. Children are being separated from families all over the world. And we know from figures from the Central Intelligence Agency themselves that over $200 billion per year goes into the child sex trafficking industry. $200 billion per year. That's more than the entire Swedish state national debt per year. So there's a global issue that have leaked into the borders of Sweden. Or is it? Could it be that Sweden is one of the instigators behind this? Could it be that the people dining and whining at the Nobel feast are actually pedophiles themselves? They support this system. They support having free access to whatever child they want, whatever ethnicity they want, whenever they want. It's called ordering a pizza or a hot dog amongst the political aristocracy. Ordering a pizza that costs $20,000 or a hot dog for $10,000. That's what your children cost to abuse for a night. In Sweden, we have a prime example because we have a very famous, globally recognized man that said, money, money, money. It is so funny in a rich man's world. Because those are verily the only people that can derive pleasure from the authority that they wield with an infinite monetary resource backing. So we're standing here, parents that have been abused by the system, as well as child rights organizations come out of Sweden, opposing the purported democracy of Sweden. How could we state that we live in a democracy where all the power is derived from the people, when the people cannot even sue for malpractice, when the state servants act like it? The banality of the situation knows no bounds. And I hope that we can swiftly rectify the situation.